biggest news on everyone's mind. And by the way, I know why it was leaked, because they wanted to get the stolen election and the open borders and the inflation and the high gas prices and the high grocery prices and the disaster in Ukraine and the disastrous retreat from Afghanistan and the crime all over American streets off the minds of American voters. They want it to be abortion, abortion, abortion. And so they leaked this at the perfect time when 2,000 Mules by Dinesh D'Souza just happens to be coming out tonight, and no one will pay any attention to it. All they'll talk about is the Supreme Court's supposed decision on overturning Roe versus Wade. First of all, as a former judge advocate, U.S. Marines, as a lawyer, how significant is this leak, which I would guess, I believe, is the first leak in the history of the United States Supreme Court?
It's very significant. I do think there have been a few other leaks, but probably you can count on one hand in the history of our country how many opinions have been leaked from the Supreme Court. It is significant. Your theory on the timing is interesting. I hadn't thought about it, but I think you might be right and be onto something. But certainly this leak would have accomplished a couple things. One, distract from the topics that you're talking about, particularly the 2,000 Mules and the stolen election. But also, as many people have been opining, it really is an attempt to try to intimidate the justices into changing their opinion. It is a very strong constitutional opinion that does overturn Roe v. Wade, and it seems like a last-ditch effort to try to intimidate the justices. And it just goes to show the mob tactics that Democrats try to use. They don't abide by the rule of law. They don't abide by decorum, although they try to force that on conservatives and point out every single instance when they think conservatives aren't abiding by it. But they themselves don't do it. And then they go and accuse conservatives of trying to make the court somehow an activist, saying that this is such a conservative opinion that it's judicial activism, when in fact the exact opposite is true. We know most of what Democrats say, the exact opposite is true, and here is no exception. The truth is that this undoes the judicial activism from the Supreme Court in 1973 with Roe v. Wade. Abortion is very much a political issue. People have strong emotions about it. There's religious beliefs tied to it. There's non-religious, just lifestyle choices tied to it. And it is a political issue that needs to be decided at the elected level in state legislatures and state houses and among the people to vote on how they want their states to be run. And this opinion would return that power back to the states that the leftist activist court stripped from states back in 1973. So this outcry, this manufactured outcry of saying that the conservative courts are somehow stripping constitutional rights is complete hypocrisy, and it has nothing to do with the opinion. As Alito pointed out in this draft, if it actually does become the opinion, the Constitution does not mention abortion at all. There's absolutely nothing in the Constitution that's being stripped away. And so I think the outcry is completely manufactured. It's mob-style tactics, and it's something, my advice to the Supreme Court is, if they're listening, issue the draft report as drafted, because they cannot cave to this woke leftist mob that releases it in hopes that they will cave. Because if they change it, if they take it any ounce to the left, you can bet that any major decision is going to be undermined in the future. So I would say stick hard to your guns. Do not allow the left woke mob to try to intimidate the court, and just say that if you leak our opinions and if you try to impact what we do and what we say before the official opinion comes out, we're going to go hard right. And I think that's the best thing they can do to protect this from happening in the future.